Hi everyone, my name is Maya Taylor, and I chose to do the My Favorite Brain project on this small red structure in this picture called the amygdala. So, first, what is the amygdala? It is an almond shaped cluster of cells located in the medial temporal lobe just in front of the hippocampus. The hippocampus is involved in memory formation, and there's two in each hemisphere and there are three functionally distinct parts. The medial or middle group of subnuclei, which has many connections with the olfactory bulb and is related to sense of smell. The basolateral group, which has a number of connections with the cerebral cortex, particularly the prefrontal cortex within the frontal lobes. And the last functionally distinct part is the central and anterior group of nuclei, which has many connections with the brainstem, hypothalamus, and sensory structures. The amygdala is also part of the limbic system, which is involved in behavioral and emotional processing, which this has a lot to do with what the amygdala actually does. The amygdala in the limbic system plays a key role in how animals assess and respond to environmental threats, and its main job is to regulate emotions. Typically, the emotion is fearful. The amygdala also activates a fight or flight response because it has many connections to other brain structures. So that way, the fight or flight response can be elicited based on the perception of the threat. There's also involved in reward and positive emotional states, and the amygdala actually allows for the prediction of reward, thus, it's also involved in decision making. There's also many other things it's involved in. Studies have shown that acute stressors and chronic stress are also strongly associated with neuronal activity within the amygdala. And the basolateral amygdala is responsible for people relapsing when it comes to drugs and addiction. Is also involved in a variety of mental health disorders such as social anxiety, OCD, generalized anxiety disorder, and post traumatic stress disorder. Sexual orientation has also been linked to structural differences within the amygdala. If the amygdala is damaged, there's a variety of things that could happen. A patient may have difficulty forming memories. They may have also an overactive fear response, which means they would interpret many situations as a threat, even if it's not necessarily a threat. A patient also might have emotional sensitivity and difficulty recognizing emotions. A very popular case of a patient that had damage to their amygdala is patient SM. They actually had no visible motor, sensory, or cognitive deficits, and there was only one facial expression she couldn't identify, which was fear. So, why is the amygdala my favorite brain part? I just found it extremely interesting doing research on, and I was absolutely mind blown about how many functions this one little part of the brain has, and I also had no idea there was different parts to it and how they're responsible for things such as sexual orientation and mental health. I had no idea that could even be possible, and think it's also amazing that it is linked to so many different parts of the brain, and I love how it links higher cognitive information with systems that control lower functions. I think it's really cool that it's responsible for the fight or flight response. The amygdala also plays a huge role in our own safety. If it wasn't for the amygdala, we wouldn't be able to perceive threats and be able to elicit a response to protect ourselves. And then here are my citations for this project. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.